Sitzen die Haare? Du solltest mal sehen, wenn die gekämmt sind. Wirklich schlimm. Hello and welcome. I'm Charlotte, we are Plom, and we made it our mission to right some wrongs and debunk some myth about sustainability. Since I personally am vegan, we thought we'd start with some misconception about the plant-based diet. Based Bolognese. First of all, we're going to start with the accusation that vegan food in general is too expensive and too complicated to make. Then we answer the question if it actually is possible to get all the nutrients and protein on a vegan diet. And lastly, we explore the effects that a plant-based lifestyle has on climate change. If you want to know some ideas to include some vegan recipes in your everyday life, I'm going to show you 3 of my all-time favorites: breakfast, lunch and dinner. I know that people tend to say that vegan food is either too expensive or very hard to find, so I thought I'd take you grocery shopping with me to show you that it's not. For everything I bought just now, I spent €10.96. Keep in mind that I didn't use all the pasta or all the oats, and I can probably still use that for the rest of the week. I made a comparison, tracking down what I spend in a month as a vegan and comparing that to my friend who still eats meat. You can see that over here now. And we kind of figured out that it doesn't make that much of a difference, which, to be honest, also matches my personal experience from what I've spent before going vegan and now. First of all, we're going to start with our chocolate oats. And for that we only have 4 main ingredients. Those are the oats, cacao powder, some oat milk and the maple syrup. And as a topic, I always like to add some walnuts, hemp seeds, cacao nibs and peanut butter. So after adding the oats, oat milk, maple and cacao, just bring it to boil and you have to stir it occasionally so that doesn't burn. So once the porridge has your desired consistency, you can just transfer it into your bowl and then add your toppings. So first just add some banana, some cacao nibs, hemp seeds, walnuts, peanut butter. What you might want to know about oat milk is that you actually don't have to miss anything from the regular cow's milk. Most of the plant-based milks that you can buy at supermarkets right now are already fortified with vitamins such as B12 and vitamin D, so you don't have to miss anything. But what are the other things that you might want to keep an eye on going vegan? Let's take a look at that now. To live a healthy life, you need to have a balanced diet. And as a vegan, you're often told that you have to keep a close eye on your protein intake. So I tracked my entire day of eating for 1 day on this app. And I'm going to show you now how much protein I actually ate. This is everything I ate that day. And you can see here that I do take B12 as a pill, usually, just to make sure that I really get enough. You can see that I, in total, ate around 2,150 calories. I did hit my energy target, protein and net carb target. You can see here that I didn't quite hit my fat target, which is okay or quite common as a vegan because it's mainly known as the high carb, low fat diet. Let's take a look at the protein. Here we go. As you can see, everything's green here. I don't even try to hit in a certain protein target. Usually I just naturally get enough because I do eat quite a lot of lentils and chickpeas. Let's go back to the kitchen and make more food. And for mushrooms on toast, we have only 4 ingredients. That's first of all the toast and the mushrooms, of course, and then soy sauce and some chili flakes. And just to garnish, parsley. This, by the way, is one of my absolute staple recipes. I always feel like mushrooms, especially with soy sauce, are just a great way to include savory dishes in a vegan diet without missing the meat. Usually you don't have this meaty, fishy, really savory taste that much in a vegan diet, so it's nice to include that every once in a while. Lastly, we have a vegan Bolognese. For that we need first 2 cloves of garlic and an onion. We have parsley just to garnish, 2 carrots. We have 1 can of brown lentils, tomato paste, tomatoes. These are kind of optional, you don't have to add them. Then spaghetti, vegetable broth, salt and pepper to taste, and then paprika, oregano, basil and thyme. Let's make dinner. This is nutritional yeast, which is great as an alternative for Parmesan cheese to top off your spaghetti. It's not only that I really enjoy this meal, but it's also a great alternative to any meat-based Bolognese. I know there's always someone who tells you that vegan meat alternatives are just as bad for the environment, but we're going to tell you now why that is in fact not true. Let's talk about the most stereotypical vegan food, and also maybe the most controversial. I'm talking about soy, or tofu in particular. Whenever I go to a restaurant with friends and order tofu, I get reactions like, "Didn't you go vegan for the environment?" And you do know that soy is the main reason for deforestation, don't you? Well, at first look, that seems true, and it also technically is. But if we take just one more look around the corner, one quickly realizes that soy isn't just produced to make tofu, far from it actually. Let's start at the beginning. Food in general is responsible for about 26% of global greenhouse gas emissions, with livestock making up about 1/3 of that. And next to resources like land, water and fuel for transportation, we also have to take a look at the food our livestock consumes, which, you guessed it, mainly consists of soy. Actually, an estimated 75% of the world's soy produce is later fed to livestock. And keeping this in mind, most of today's tofu and soy meat manufacturers are actually processing soybeans grown in European or Asian countries instead of South America. If we, for example, look at the Tofu company, which is a brand available at grocery stores like Tesco's and Sainsbury's, we will find that Canada and China are the origin countries of their soybeans, not South America, where most of the deforestation in connection with the cultivation of soybeans actually takes place. So, yes, from an environmental perspective, and let's be honest here, also from a moral and health perspective, tofu is the better option in comparison to animal-based protein. While beef produces 23.9 kilograms CO2 emissions per 200 calories, tofu only produces 3 to 6 kilograms, depending on its composition and where it actually comes from. That said, keep in mind that there are other plant-based protein sources, such as nuts and beans, that only make up about 1 kilogram per 200 calories on average. And don't think we didn't bring receipts, because if you want to read the articles that we used in our research, you can just check out the links in the description box down below. In a nutshell, for the 3 topics we covered in this video, I think we established that the vegan diet is in fact pretty easy, inexpensive, good for the environment, and you actually do get enough protein on it. So I hope you liked this video, and please take it as inspiration only. See you soon at Plom. Based Bolognese.